Okay, so I have a few slides just to introduce. Like, I was assuming that other people will be here, but let's do it. It's a little bit about Squad, our recent and current working plans, and then the discussion at the end. So Squad is 2 years old, right? A little bit more than 2 years old. So first commit was May 2016. It's already running QA reports, which is eternally in beta. I think we should probably drop that beta at some point. Yeah, there's the GitHub repository. So in San Francisco last year, exactly 1 year ago, I gave a longer introduction to Squad with technical details and all that. So that's linked there. Overview of what we're currently working on and the next steps. So we recently got tracking of regressions and fixes, not fixed. So we already have regressions in email reports. Now we have both regressions and fixes on email reports and in the UI. So it keeps the history there. We have now support for known issues. So if there's a failure, you can record that's a known bug. For instance, you can put the URL of an upstream bug of any URL really, and then that's tracked. So it's separated from actual failures. So it's displayed as X-fail, which stands for expected failure. And then that's handled in several places. And then we have done several performance improvements. So nowadays, mostly we don't have any performance problems. And the plans for the future is improving metric support. So there's lots of features we want to get merged for performance testing and metrics in general. Adding support for Lava callbacks to speed up a little bit getting results from Lava. Instead of polling, then we get Lava to notify us that the results are available. And also the configuration API, so we can drive the Squad configuration from the API. So you can have, for instance, Git repository with your configuration. So you can keep, for instance, the list of known issues in a Git repository. And then you can use that to do code review and maintain that collaboratively. Now, here we are in the discussion part. So the idea is to bootstrap actual community around Squad. So it's very generic on purpose. So it should be useful for any project doing QA in terms of tests and metrics. We have a mailing list which doesn't have any posts yet. And we are currently using the Linaro QA IRC channel. Maybe we should have a proper Squad channel to separate from general discussion that we have for the QA team. And then all the documentation is pushed to squad.readthedocs.io live. So every update on GitHub goes there. And the documentation we have is there as well.
Do you have the versioning there?
The version, you
like
mean?
On the read the docs, go back to version X.
Yeah, I think read the docs supports that out of the box. It displays the latest, the very latest by default, but you can go back.
I didn't know how to select it. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't know either, but there's probably a way to do that. Maybe you need to configure how many versions you want to keep going back.
At least a couple back.
Yeah.
I mean, like because if you merge something, that it automatically gets updated to the read the docs, but it's not yet rolled out to the production, for example.
Yes.
So we should keep at least like the master and the previous stable version rolled out.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you aware of anybody that's using Squad in any capacity outside of Linaro?
Yes.
How many or who?
ARM is using it, so there are a few ARM guys that talk to us constantly. There is another member, I think. Do you remember which one, Milos? Unisoc.
Spectrum.
Yes.
They're running an internal instance of Squad internally. That's why they're public.
They have a full setup. They have Lava, they have Jenkins, they have Squad. That's it, I guess. Right. I'm not sure about how they track bugs, if they do that at all. Yeah, but they have the full LKFT sort of instance.
They're on their own internal boards on it.
Yeah, they used to have the board like a remote lab with us, but that didn't work because of the connectivity restrictions. So they moved everything there, and now we don't hear from them.
This is the one that Chase helped, right?
Yeah.
He went there and did all this work, yeah.
But now we don't hear from them, so I don't know what's happening. From ARM, at least, I hear from time to time that they want a feature, they're happy or something like that, but from Unisoc, I don't.
So I played around with Squad. It was quite easy to set up with the Docker setup, that Docker script that you have. I know that there's a lot of effort happening to containerize LKFT. Yeah, are we going to have kind of a special LKFT container for Squad, so just everything is quite easy to just connect if somebody wants to play around with it or test it?
That won't be too hard to do, right? Because I'm not sure how Lava can be, right?
I would imagine Neil is the one who's leading up the Dockerization.
There is container. Yeah. Yeah, there is a container for Lava Master, right? Yeah. There is one. I'm sure
Yeah, there is one. And if you go on the new Lava software Git repo, I've had a look. I didn't do it, but I've had a look. I think they're more Docker containers for the dependencies of Lava. So, there's a container with everything you would need to install it. But because the stuff that was Senthil was doing has now sort of died because there's no Senthil. So
okay.
The plan, however, is to make official images of server and dispatcher.
Yeah. Okay. If you have a server does the image contain the database, for example?
Yeah, it will do. It's just broken at the moment.
Okay.
I asked today, and I asked Steve, and he said that they have the dispatcher in a container, but not the master. But I don't know what level of. I don't know if it has users.
Not yet.
What would be the use case? Who would be using it this way?
People who want to prototype or play around with it in the field. A couple of days ago, we met with a client who's really interested in you were there.
Okay.
They will be an ideal candidate or something like this, so they can just with a quick, maybe a day or two go to the test and get something up the road.
Well,
You don't have to deal with all that.
you can already do that, right? I guess there are no containers ready, but setting up Lava is just like apt-get install. Yeah, but you spawn Docker with stretch, then apt-get install, and you're done.
But I thought it was a lot more than that. There's database setup, there's the swap.
Docker doesn't help there.
Yeah.
No, in general, Docker doesn't help with your database.
No.
Yeah.
Because
You still have to inform the database to the container in some way.
Depends when you say people want to play with LKFT, right? I mean, Squad is easy to install. Lava is easy to install. What do you call
Jenkins
LKFT?
is easy to install.
Yeah, Jenkins is easy to install.
the requirement I heard is like a demo use case.
So all of those bits combined, so which you can then point at a tree.
I think asked for.
Yeah. So because
Because a demo
Separately,
applies
they're
your
easy.
data and something that can run.
you need a Docker Compose setup that
Yeah.
runs all the different bits you need, shoves them in a network together, and then gives you a web front end to go
And
play
probably
with.
has like a QEMU worker.
Already set up.
Yeah.
And Jenkins, and then you can push a button and watch stuff happen.
Yes.
That's what he's asking for.
Yeah.
That's how they can actually set that
Should we put Chase on that project? Why not? Well, he is. That's why I'm proposing. Yeah, I don't know. So the Docker containers that Sentinel did, well, they are waiting for review, and I think they will get merged eventually. So
Yeah, they're supposed to be supported by the team.
yeah, so I think I asked Chase to review one of them, and then there is a Jenkins job that I can review after that. So
Yeah, I think Squad doesn't have published images, but it's easy to do. Just
we have Docker file, right?
yeah, we have Docker file and everything is there, but we just need to publish the images so that you can use in a Docker Compose setup or something like that.
When I was hacking at Squad, one of the things that I struggled with is the data set that I had was pretty old, and we couldn't really kind of see the new features that were developed in the latest version. So they were kind of hidden, and you couldn't dig deeper without actually creating fictitious data, which wasn't easy. If we can get some kind of script that creates some data or copies it from somewhere or just pulls it from some, like maybe people.lenore.org or something, that'll be really helpful.
Yeah, that's a good point. We usually use production dumps.
Especially if it was SQLite still, because that's a lot more convenient for a quick development thing than having a persistent database.
The problem is SQLite is that if you have just SQLite, you're very limited on the amount of data.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I think as long as you have a few projects with large enough number of builds, it should be okay. I mean, we don't have to have as many data as we have in production, but
Yeah, okay, I can try to create something like export from production, delete some stuff, and put it to. Yeah, I can try to do it. Yeah. Well, I was using one data set for a long time, but at some point it turned out that like my machine is powerful enough to not to time out on some queries while we have more power, more horsepower on the production, and it was timing out on the same queries. So at that point, it's it's getting tricky.
yeah,
That's where staging comes in. So if staging, the second point of that would be to update staging regularly or automatically from production so that we can test performance there, because you really can't test performance as easily locally.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, but what I'm saying is I don't know how to do it efficiently. Right now we have the if you dump the data from database, it's around 8 gigs. So yeah, and it takes a long time to actually dump and then load. So if
you want to do it based on queries, so instead of taking everything that you leave, you want to just take what you want, because you also don't want like all the user stuff, auth stuff, email stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably some sort of a database replication problem, right?
It's a select statement.
So
Well, which problem are we talking about? The staging problem or the development?
no, like moving data or copying data from production to staging.
I would have RDS do a snapshot and recovery on the staging database, whatever that means in RDS. Don't
Yeah.
pull it out and then put it back in. Let
Yeah, that's something I don't know how to do.
AWS RDS like database.
Yeah, I'm sure people do that. Some
Yeah, this is a common.
non-stupid way. Going back to Squad community, do you guys have any specific ideas?
I do.
We should. Okay, go ahead.
So, few things I would do if you want to get more community involved. Register a squad organization on Docker Hub, because putting the images onto the Linaro one means no one ever finds them, because you can't find the Lava ones.
Same for GitHub.
Yeah, and I was going to say, move your code to a GitHub organization rather than under the Lanara umbrella, because it's quite hard to find. I had a little project that when I moved it to its own organization, the amount of people sending in pull requests just exploded, because I don't know why. I think it's easier to find or something like that. Like Google's, it's easier to find in Google and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, get your own GitHub organization and get your own Docker Hub one and get your own IRC channel.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
And start using the mailing list, right? Now when I'm sending the message to Antonio and to Stefan, I'm just mailing them directly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could use a mailing list system that isn't on lists.lara.org, but it doesn't really matter as long as there is one.
Yeah, good point.
So, Antonio, specifically for you, what are your goals for the project? I mean, where do you want to see it go, and what do you want it to do? Is it done, or is it just driven by requests, or is there?
So right now it's driven by requests, and we have some features to finish on the metrics part, so that we can migrate, for instance, art, which is they have a pretty good dashboard, which is on GitHub as well, but it only supports one project at a time, so you have to have multiple installations if you have to handle different projects. So that was a kind of an inspiration for Squad, especially in the metrics part and how we organize the data. So we need to finish a few features to be able to migrate that over to Squad. And after that, we see what will happen. I think we are reasonably close to something that's generally useful enough that people are going to want to pick it up, I think.
If I find a new bug, like a kernel warning or a kernel crash, so I check that on the Lava. Then I had to jump onto the bugzilla.org, then search for that kernel warning string or a stack dump string there, and find that. Then I will get to see like if it is related to some of the bugs or not. So is that can be done in QA reports anyway, like searching with a particular string and trying to understand like where it started, where it is coming from.
I had this idea, but we put it to the shelf right now, doing the full text search on more or less everything in Squad. But yeah, it's right now on a low priority, but it probably can be done.
That sounds like an elk use case to me.
Well, it's either Elasticsearch or Solar, or there's a third engine, I don't remember. Yeah.
Whichever one of those we end up with is where I would do it.
Yeah, so you basically end up indexing all the content in QA reports with Elasticsearch or some other search engine, and then redirect the search there and then get the results back.
Yeah, on the same notation, whenever there is a test incomplete, there is no test result, so we don't see anything there.
Yeah, I know, it's a bug. And
is there any way, like, reason for incomplete bug, like Lava, whatever Lava gives on the top, so can that be incorporated in some way? Instead of, jumping back to the Lava or jumping those logs to the seed?
Yeah, I think Antonio, well, it depends on, so you're talking about the error message from Lava displayed in the UI, right?
Yeah.
It's already there.
Logs are there. I mean, you have to go to the logs and click on it to get the Lava log complete image, right?
No. Just the error message from Lava.
I don't think it's there already.
It is.
It's pending, isn't it?
Where?
Let's see. That's good.
I know it's on my to-do list.
Why don't you go use that for demos? Can you?
Could you go back one step? So this is beautiful. If you scroll down a little. Yep. So if you see, those are empty, like high key. This is fine. Yeah. Those are like plus my. I mean, red color and green color is fine, but this on the top row, there is no logs available for Juno, ARM64 QA ARM. Yeah, Juno or two. Yeah, because they don't have a job finished, maybe because it's not appearing here. That means it's not there. So, is there any way we could have some box there, whatever we have seen there, right, in the last page, the incomplete and with the something results. So, if that could be available here, that would be great.
Yeah, and you mean some way from going from there directly to the place where the error is? Right.
Showing that it's broken.
Yeah.
Like over the mouse, it could just display that to us.
Because those did not run, but
There's no result. I don't know if we can associate the test job, incomplete test job with an environment. Okay, if you could send that in an email.
Yeah.
So, back to the squad community, to kind of follow up on Dan's question of for the future for squad. Lava's UI, Lava is about testing and, operating the boards and extracting the data out. Are there plans to make squad maybe coupled even closer with Lava and join the Lava community project in a way as a test results displaying engine with the parameter and all that? I would imagine that if these got coupled closely, that would be a very good thing moving forward.
Well, personally, I'd keep them apart.
Not call them the same, or I mean, keep the code base probably separate, but at the same time, from a mind share, couple them in a way and say, hey, you can have Lava, but on top you can also add squad. Because if we're pushing Lava and a lot of people are using Lava, maybe there is value in building the community by further promoting squad to the Lava community.
I still think I'd let people, if people want to use them together, it's a suggested use case, but...
That's right, yeah, it's not forcing it, but I guess I should paraphrase and say, since we should actually be active in trying to at least tell the people who use Lava that squad actually does exist. Because I did discover this connect that a lot of people don't actually know that squad exists. They think it's the kind of the one-off UI Lenaro did, by somebody, and it just gets hacked together, and it's not an actual, project that they can pull in and rely on because there are updates and fixes. So it's just an idea.
Yeah, we are actually out of time.